this was what had actually inspired me to pick this topic, and is something which just popped up on my WhatsApp on Janmashtami, and it has never left me. This has always remained in my heart. So when I was just thinking of a topic, I said, let me just talk something related to this, because it really touched a very deep part of me. And only if we would understand this or reflect on this, life would really change for all of us.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that these sessions of yours are invaluable. I mean, so are the others, but Reiki, you are doing on your own, but these conversations, I repeatedly hear them. And, I was so thrilled when you were ready. You and Vinita were ready to do this. And of course, Tanvi's organizing. So thank you, all of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's like we always love to be here. I mean, even when I'm away, it's like I really want to be here and be continuing these conversations. But you know how it is in life. Sometimes you're traveling with kids, sometimes there's something else.
Yeah.
So just from that aspect, we thought, Vinita and I discussed yesterday, that let's just keep some topics in hand based on what we want to really talk about, and Vinita will share more as we go along. But I did dig out a few old recordings and I sent them so that we could.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your response and your love, because it really makes it worth, being here and sharing all this. Over to you, Vinita. Unmute yourself, unmute yourself.
A big good evening and a warm welcome and hugs to each one of you. And I'm so glad to be back. Thank you, Didi, for actually taking time out. And honestly, we've been getting so many feedback responses that they've been missing this session. And I think your responses and love is something that keeps us going. And as Didi said about this topic of surrender that she's taken, it is absolutely like surrender to the divine power and allow the higher forces to play the tune to your life. It is so magnificent in one sentence. It just speaks volume. So, as we go along, there's a couple of things that we would like to put it across. One, that we're trying to, with the responses and the feedback that we've got, we are trying to change the format of this Sunday conversation. Possibly we'll be putting it up, from 7 o'clock to try and wind up within 45 minutes at about 7:45. And last 10 minutes or so, we would want to keep it as a grounding session or a meditation session. And we would love to hear engagements from you. But when you have a concrete question to ask, Didi, as in, like, if there is a actual problem that any of us are facing, either pertaining to the topic that we are discussing, or if there's some handholding that is required in our spiritual journey, we would really love to hear from each one of you. And we will take 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes of the last session, connecting with each one and taking the questions. And importantly, it is that as we go, please mute yourselves. So as we go along, it's also, the Sunday conversation topic, we will discuss it 3-4 days before the coming Sunday. So what happens is, so that everybody is in the glue of the topic, and whatever the questions are, or in case if there is something that somebody really wants to ask, please feel free to submit the questions to me, to Sujata Didi, or write to us at White Sage Wellness. And I think all of us have the link of White Sage Wellness. Our White Sage Wellness is there on our Instagram, also on Facebook also. And of course, by now you all have my number and Didi's number, and we all are reachable very, very, dil se yaad karoge to hum pahunch jate hain kahin bhi. So that is how it is. So today's topic, before we discuss, I'll just narrate a small story. So there was this city which never had seen a rainfall in decades. People were in a state of plight. The crops were dying. Everything was happening in such a way that people khalbali machi hui thi, jise kehte hain. So there was a temple there, and people decided to go to the priest of the temple. And the priest said, "Ki, you have to just pray, and this is what can happen is that we just have to pray and let's see if we get rains, because that's the only way. Otherwise we don't know. It's not been raining for so many decades. So people, the community, they all gathered for the rain god to come and bless them. So there is a child there. He's standing there with an umbrella. So everybody's asking him, "Ki, why are you standing there with an umbrella?" He says, "Because I'm praying to God and it's going to rain. And if it rains, how will I go home?" So that's the difference between having a complete, absolute trust in and divine surrender, and all just saying that, "Ha, Bhagwan hai, ha, divine hai." So let the flute music come from the divine tunes rather than we wanting to play what we have to play. Dee, I already have a question. Would you want me to tell you the question, or would you want to go about it?
No,
To
I
begin?
just want to talk a little bit about uh, this particular
Topic.
post that I
Yes.
have put up here,
Mhm.
because it just explains it so beautifully. I just want to talk about it and then I'll get back to all the questions. I'm happy to take it on from there. So, when you actually, when you read the first line of it, be an instrument in his hands. When you read the first line, it just becomes so liberating. All the time we are thinking, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to complete this. So we are really caught in that doership, isn't it? But the moment you say that just be an instrument, that means you are not doing anything. You are just the instrument in the hands of God, and all the work is being done by God, isn't it? So it's so liberating to not be doing anything yourself or needing to do anything yourself, and be that flute through which he can play his song. So that flute, even when we talk about Reiki, we talk about an empty conduit or a pipe through which we channel that energy. That means the effort that you have to do has to really become more and more less, and the music that plays through this instrument will become more and more stronger and melodious, if I may say. Let not the flute decide, meaning you in your mind don't take it upon yourself to decide what should be the tune of or the song that needs to be played, because you are not going to be playing it. So we have to get out of these illusions of thinking that I need to do this and only I can play this melodious song, or I am the doer. Yes, we are the doer, we are the instrument which is doing everything, but let that instrument be operated from God's hands. Let's not struggle to be the instrument and also use the instrument, be the person who's using that same instrument, because that's not true. That's not true. So these lines were so touching, and they just, what they are actually doing is telling you to step out of that doership, of just come into that space and let the music of life play through you, let the song play through you. Whatever might be coming up, challenges, difficult situations, whatever it is that you're going through, or you're feeling you need to work on something, make it happen, all that can just be put aside from the space of let it happen through me, coming into a space of deep trust. Even the example that Vinita shared was so beautiful, that you already know. So if you need to pick up an umbrella, you will pick up an umbrella because you have that trust. But let not you be the person who's going to make the rainfall happen. You know what I mean? You do what you need to do, but only from the space of trust, of faith, of surrender. Yeah, so if you just keep listening and looking to this, I think it's very, very powerful. So I just wanted to share this, and we can remove this now, Srishti. And maybe before we end, I'll put it up again so that if there's others who are joining in late, they can have a look at it. But yes, please go ahead, Vinita.
Yeah. So the first question that trickles is, doesn't the concept of absolute surrender to the divine providence make us complacent? Like if we just let go of not doing anything, so where do we start from? How do we karma?
So this is actually a very common question which definitely comes up when you think or you speak this way, that I'm not the doer, so I can just sit back and everything will happen. That's not true. Like you said, we have to still pick up that umbrella and carry that umbrella, isn't it? You're still doing something. So we don't become complacent. We act from a whole different space. We act from a space where we are guided to do what we need to do. There is no resistance to what is. And we do not become complacent at all. In fact, whatever we do with more love, we do with more presence, we do with full trust in whatever it is that is going to happen. If it happens, if it doesn't happen, we are totally in full faith and full surrender. But if you really come from a space of understanding the deeper aspect of it, and now most of you know that whenever we talk about these topics or what is happening, there are two spaces from which we operate. One is operating from an ego space. So this question is totally coming from the mind ego space, which will logically say that obviously if I'm not the doer, I'm just going to be sitting back. No, you have been given a human body and you have to act through the body. It's not that if you don't eat, somebody is going to put food in your mouth. Yes, somebody may put food in your mouth, but by all means, you are an able-bodied person. You'll get up, you'll look after this body, you'll do whatever you need to do, but not from a space of fear, not from a space of, not from the ego space. You'll do it from a space of knowing that, okay, this is what I need to do. It's a knowing that will happen and come into you. And 100% it will come. There is no doubt. You will not ask this question. The complacency only comes when the mind is asking this question. The heart always knows. The heart doesn't ask such questions, if I may use such a word. So if you have, and that's the fear the mind creates, that don't surrender. If you won't do anything, how will you operate? Nothing is going to happen in your life. That's not true. You are an instrument. The operation is going to happen through you. You are the flute. The music is going to be sort of coming out through you. You are that conduit. You are that instrument. But who is operating it? The universe, God, source, whatever you might like to say. So know that you will definitely operate from a deeper space of trust, from a deeper space of, with deeper guidance, knowing what you're doing and not just hitting in the air. So once you come into that space of trust, you will know what to do. There will be no doubt at all, and you will do what is needed to be done. It's not that you will not get up and, not do anything. So that's a different part of your whole life or brain that will be working. You'll be guided to do what you need to do.
True.
Does that
Moji
make sense?
Baba, yeah, I was just thinking when you just said emptiness, Moji Baba also talks about just empty yourself. There's a meditation of his that, you have to give space for the divine to really work and make space.
Absolutely. Well, that is what all scriptures actually point to and teach us. Don't they? Each one points to this, that just free yourself of this suffering from stepping back from the doership, isn't it? That's the most important pointing or teaching of any scripture, that's the path of non-duality, isn't it? So that does not put you out from a space where you'll sit back and just not do anything. That won't happen. You'll be guided. You'll be knowing what to do. You'll move with full trust and faith, not with any doubt. And you will, just know that this question only comes from the mind, because the mind feels threatened when we say, oh, I'm not the doer. If I'm not the doer, who am I? If I'm not the person, who am I? That's what we need to contemplate on, because we've always, through conditioning, through lifetimes, we've always known ourselves as the doer, as that person, isn't it? So that's why it gets very difficult and fearful when we think of stepping away from it. So even if you feel your mind is telling you that you will become complacent, observe, watch, you will not become complacent. Believe me, you will not become complacent. You will see that you may do less, effort will be less, actions will be less, but they will be more meaningful. Sorry, Vinita, you were saying something?
No, I was just saying that there are a lot of people who have a type A personality. So, they like to plan everything. They have a plan A, they have a plan B also, and some of them are so tight skinned that they have a plan well. So they need to really decide and know and have things under their control. So for them, how can such people approach this if somebody really wants to follow the path of surrender, which of course makes you feel so light? But how? What would be the initial steps to do that, to let go of their type A?
So, there are again two things to this, and now it has become so very clear to me. What we do and what we put effort on is in the direction of making it as a struggle. Oh, I have to drop control. I don't have to think. I don't have to plan. That's not true, because you can't do that. You don't bring in the control on your own. Like you said, it's a personality typing. So by default, you are the person who always feels the need to control, isn't it? So instead of trying to push that need to control away, which is just like, it's like a bottomless pit, you'll go on and on and on, and you cannot give it up. Instead of that, you need to shift your focus in the other direction and really understand that you're not the doer. You have to put the trust that the controls, like I always say, if you remember that old random example that I have always given, that if somebody says something or triggers you, that means you have given the full control to the other person. You have an argument with a child or with a partner in the morning, and he or she just says whatever they feel like, and you've planned to go out in the day with your friends for a movie or for a coffee. Just because you've had that argument in the morning, your mood gets spoiled and you say, okay, I'm not going anywhere. I don't feel like going out for a coffee or anything like that. I'm just going to be home. Wait for them to return in the evening. Let them first apologize. Let me dissect this whole issue, receive the apology, prove that I'm right. Then I'll be at peace. You spoil your whole day actually. And in the evening when they return, they're not even aware that there was an argument in the evening. Doesn't it happen with all of us? It happens with all of us. And we've waited the whole day thinking that they're going to come back and then they will apologize and then I'll justify whatever I said, whatever they said, and then I'll be at peace. So that means that whole day you were powerless. You had given the power to the other person. When they come back, when they apologize, when they speak, that's when you will, begin to move ahead. You'll get back into your energy, and you cancel your whole day's schedule and program just because of that. And they come back in the evening, they're absolutely fine. And you say, don't you remember what you said to me in the morning? And they'll say, what did I even say? Okay, I might have said something, but what's such a big deal about it? But you ruined your whole day thinking. So who has the power to control your moods and your feelings and your actions in your day? You've given it to the other person. So take that remote control back. And if you really need to give it to somebody, give it to a higher power. Just say, I don't know how to handle this. Just show me the way, God, universe, source, whatever, whomever you believe in. And believe me, you will be shown the way. So who is actually controlling? You are not controlling. If it was in your control, you would have had the apology in the morning and you would have gone out for your coffee date or whatever, and you would have enjoyed your day. But you were sulking whole day, thinking about, how you're going to face, what you're going to face in the evening. So the controls were totally with the other people, wasn't it? So you need to really firstly take that remote control back and surrender it to the actual controller of everything. We are just puppets. We are just the flute. And get that trust in a higher power, surrender to a higher power. Then there will be no need to control, because you will know, you will trust that whatever is happening for your highest and best. You may not be liking it at the moment. You may not be resonating with it at the moment. But the fact is that this is what it is. So how do you go through it? Either sulk the whole day or say, okay, let me go out and enjoy myself. We'll see to it when the evening comes. That's taking your control back, taking your power back, and trusting that, yeah, whenever the other person needs to apologize, if they need to apologize, whenever they need to apologize or speak up, it'll happen. Isn't it? So you make your plans, you do whatever you need to in terms of, chalking out certain things, but it's not the end of everything. That's why you have to understand that your energy could change. So bring in that spontaneity, because the universe may suddenly say, okay, now shift the gear and change this. Hasn't it happened with all of us? In our relationships, in our health, in our career, in our finances, suddenly you felt at that you are at a dead end. Either ways, either it could be that, yeah, my work was going so well, everything was just fine, and suddenly there's a lockdown, everything has stopped. Or the other way around, that I just don't know, I was feeling that this is the end of my life, I have no way to go ahead, and suddenly something just opened up for me, and there were so many paths ahead. So you have to really move with that trust and know that the controller is up there. You are not controlling anything. So if you really want to become that flute, if you really want to ease yourself out, then just surrender to that higher power and say, okay, show me the way ahead. Tell me what to plan. Tell me what plans I need to make, when I need to wake. And then just fully trust that. Just fully trust that. It may not be something that you have thought. It just may not be something that you have thought. And it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. Does that answer the question, Vinita?
Yeah, it does. Uh, so I actually read something very nice. I just thought I'll read it out to you. It says you are a co-creator of your life with the divine, just as a channel. Everything is happening for you, not to you. And it all happens in divine timing when we are ready to receive, good or bad. I mean, I could part thought if you could uh, right or wrong, it could be that when we are ready for a challenge, then we may possibly don't like it. I mean, that's what I'm perceiving it. And
So yeah, right or wrong, meaning that it may not go according to your plan, isn't it? You've planned it in a certain way and you think that is the right way to go. Obviously, that's the way you think, which is absolutely fine. But the universe thinks differently. And you may be put on a totally different path. And that's the disturbance that comes in, doesn't it? But that's the time we need to put in trust and say, okay, now give me the strength to go through this. If I have to change gears and move on to a different path, that means we have to drop all resistances. I don't want to go there. I only want to go there the other way. I don't want to go the other way. But God is telling you, okay, now turn your steering towards the left. But you had planned to go towards the right, isn't it? And you know that that is the only way to go. You've gone on it before. But when something is making you turn towards the left and repeatedly things are coming up, then trust that there is something better in this. You may not understand it. And actually in life, sometimes you may never understand. And we waste our life most of the time trying to think that, let me just understand this. Let me just know what is the right path to go on. Let me just, know that why I was put through this tough relationship. Why did I have to go through this health issue? You may never know that. So stop the need to know the why. Totally stop the need to know the why, and you will see how free and how liberated you become. And life is taking you there. Okay. And that does not mean that you become not just complacent, you even become impervious to emotions. You don't. You feel all the emotions, but you don't judge yourself or you don't judge those emotions. You feel disturbed that why am I being made to do this? Why am I being made to go through? Why am I going through this? And you may not get an answer to that. But if you really have that trust, like that little boy who carried the umbrella, just know that this is the way I'm meant to go. And actually, when the moment you say that and you come into that space, things begin to change. They really, really begin to change. And anytime you feel threatened on the path, just step back, say a prayer, come into your heart, know that it's only the universe that has put you there, and it is only the universe that will take you out of that. When I say universe, you may use the word God, source energy, higher powers, high self, whatever it is. It's just a higher consciousness that helps you to come out of it and go through it with much greater ease rather than resist it. All our struggles only come because we want to play that flute. But if you sit back and say, okay, play through me, you'll see what a beautiful song will play through you. And that song is your life, your beautiful life.
but how do we know that we are on the right path? Sometimes one doesn't get to know if we are walking with the flow or we are, downstreaming. or upstreaming?
So according to me, there is no wrong path. According to my knowledge, whatever I have learned in my journey, our mind tells us that it is wrong. You know, a lot of times we say, oh, that decision that you made, it was not the right decision. But at that time, you did not take the decision thinking that it's a wrong decision. And yet at the same time, sometimes something prompts inside you that, no, don't do this, you know, don't do this, it won't be good for you. But there's a higher energy that makes you do it, isn't it? There's a higher energy that makes you do it, even though a part of you is telling you, don't go that way. The fact that you have gone that way, maybe there's some lesson to learn in that. Maybe there's some karmic debts that you need to clear. It could be a very uncomfortable journey, but something has put you there, isn't it? Something has put you there. So nothing is wrong. According to me, nothing is wrong. And really, if you start living with this belief, with this philosophy that nothing is wrong, you'll see that everything that is happening is just the way it is meant to be. When you take a small child for a vaccination, you know, you take a small child for a vaccination, or even like so many of us have gone through this vaccination after the COVID, and we've had like really terrible symptoms. Some of us have had terrible reactions to the vaccine. When you take a small child and you're getting that vaccination for immunity for the child cries, howls. The mother's heart actually cries because she knows that the syringe is pricking the child and the child is in pain. The child even has fever for the next 2-3 days, is uncomfortable. But that builds immunity for life for the child, doesn't it? So it's the same way. So was it wrong to hurt your child and take your child for a vaccination? Some people even say that, yeah, you're pumping in toxins, this, that, which is okay. I mean, I respect every school of thought. But at that time, did you take your child for that vaccination, for getting fever? Was it a wrong decision? No, that was the right thing to do at that moment. And it did create discomfort, dis-ease. And that's all that you need to remember and trust. That for building that immunity against a disease for life, you may need to go through a little time, which is rough, but it is not a wrong thing. And if you feel anytime, just step back, close your eyes, ask. I'm really telling you, pray and ask, and you will get the answer. Is this right? Is this the path that I need to go on? Or guide me, God. Even on the wrong path, who has put you? When we are saying the controller is up above, you don't have control to go on the wrong path. As much as you might think that, yeah, I made this mistake, that too is by the divine. So accept that also, na? As you accept the good things, accept this also. And know that the divine will take you out from that too. Don't be in fear at all. So just as the divine has put you on that, the divine has even put you on the so-called wrong path. And you will know how to pull yourself out of that, or you will come out, you know, a new person, having grown from it, learned something from it. And it will just be for your highest and best. Just have that trust. And if you need to pray for anything, just pray for the strength or whatever you need to learn out of that path, out of that, you know, whatever you're walking on at that moment. Know that you will just ask for the strength to go through that peacefully. That's what is empowerment. There is, in my dictionary, there is no right or wrong. What could be right for you could be wrong a few days later, even 2 minutes later. What could be wrong could be right. So these are just relative terms. It's nothing that you can declare that this is right, this is wrong. If it had to be that way, it would have been that way. I repeat, every time I repeat, life can only go in one particular way. There are no two ways in life. Absolutely no two ways in life. So fully trust the process where you are, but try to be more centered. Use your wisdom. This is where you need to put energy in. You know, just use your wisdom. Just trust whatever is happening and move from that aspect. So don't think of anything as being wrong, because nothing is wrong. And even if you feel that, oh my gosh, I've already entered this and I'm in a mess, something has again put you there. No? Just like we said, accept. When you accept everything that is happening with the with the whole trust in the divine, something good that happens, oh, God has done this for me, so you feel joyous and you fully accept it. In the same way, accept what is so-called not good at this moment also. The moment you come into that consciousness that, yeah, I'm not in the place that I should ideally be, pray that God takes you out of that. But whatever reason you are there for, just ask for that wisdom or that lesson or whatever it is that you need to learn from that situation to come up.
It's always a lesson to learn, that's you're rightly saying.
Yeah, but now actually with going more and more on this journey and going inwards, it's not even about the lesson, because the lessons also keep changing. That's how your mind is. At some point, it's like a pacifier, it'll be put in your mouth. At that time, you'll be eased and soothed. And then again, there'll be something else that, oh, now what is the next lesson? Now what is the next lesson? And you'll go on endlessly. So just know that this is where you're meant to be, full stop. And then even the lessons get learned. You don't make those so-called mistakes again. So everything is just fine. Everything is just fine. The more you resist it and try to change it and fight it, the more discomfort or more challenges are presented in life. Anyone has a question or anyone wants to ask something? Let's make this real. Bring up your real life situations that you feel challenged in relation to what I'm talking. So that makes it, true for you today. So feel free to ask, to even, sort of criticize what I'm saying, bring out a different perspective. It's not criticism, it's only putting your point forward. And I'm very happy to even, see what is it that you are struggling with and try to explain it from this perspective, because that's the way I look at life. And that's all that I'm sharing here. Again, like I said, no one is right or wrong. When you are going through a challenging situation, it's true for you, isn't it? I might say, so what, I've gone through worse situations. You may have gone through, but what you are going through right now is your truth, isn't it? The pain is something that you are experiencing. So it's true for you, it's real for you.
I think, can we have some grounding prayer?
Of course, definitely we can do some grounding prayer, because that is actually what really brings us into the center. So whatever you do, whenever you're feeling, say, that you're in a space which is wrong, or you're feeling scattered, or you're feeling, that something is shaking you up, just step back and ask for that situation to pass away with greater ease. And how does that situation pass away? How are you able to deal with that situation with greater ease? Is by really coming into a centered space, into the heart space, as we say. Till we're operating from here, we'll keep getting caught in some story of the mind, and then it will change. Oh, I learned this lesson, now there's another lesson to learn, there's another lesson to learn. Endlessly you'll keep going. So rather than getting caught in that, step back and just say, okay, so this is what it is, let's move on, let's just grow from this. Every situation offers scope for growth. Even this talk that I'm doing right now is helping me to grow as a person. I'm hearing what I'm speaking, it's confirming what is the truth in our lives and helping me to grow too. So every situation, there is something that we need, that we can get to grow, to be empowered, so always be open to that. Always be open to that. So let's sit back and do a little meditation. Make yourselves comfortable in your spaces. Just a little grounding, just a little centering that I'll take you through as we go into this session today. So the biggest and the easiest way of grounding, centering, getting your answers, releasing any confusion is to connect to your breath. So wherever you are, however you are sitting, listening, just gently close your eyes and bring your focus to your breath. No difficult meditations that, oh, you need to put on some music, you need to lock yourself in your room, you need to lie down, sit straight, use a sofa, use a chair. No, just wherever you are, connect to your breath. The best and the biggest and the easiest meditation. You need no music, you need no instruments, you need nothing. Till you are alive, your breath is with you. Shift your focus or your awareness to your breath. Feel the breath as it moves in and out at the tip of your nostrils. Gently breathing in and breathing out. Full awareness on this breath as it gently moves in and moves out from the tip of your nostrils. As this breath comes in and goes through your body, it brings in fresh energy, fresh prana. Just fully open yourself to receiving this. Even your breath you can't control. So what is it that you can control? With this full awareness on the breath, fully arriving here, being here. As you breathe, tell yourselves the word, I am, I exist. I am, I exist. It's a knowing that you are, isn't it? If someone tells you that are you there? Are you present? Are you alive? You'll say, of course, nobody taught you this, that you are. It's just a knowing that you are, you exist. Let's connect to that knowing. I am, I exist. And just allow yourselves to fall deeply into that space of amness. That knowingness that you are and you exist. That knowing that only you have, you cannot explain, you cannot describe. You know that you are, you exist. Just allow yourself to gently fall into that space of amness, of presence. I am, I exist. Thoughts may come, but just for this short while, don't engage in those thoughts. When I say don't engage in those thoughts, what I'm saying is a thought will come up, just look at it and allow it to pass away. Another thought might come, look at it and just let it go. Don't dialogue with that thought, don't talk with that thought. Just notice that all your senses are working. You can hear, you can smell, you can feel your body. You can feel the weight of your body, you're aware of your posture, the way you're sitting. And you're making no effort to do this. It's all happening. And once again, just let all those thoughts that are coming up to arise and gently pass away. Don't follow any thought. Don't get into a conversation with any thought. Just notice that these thoughts are arising in a space. Just allow yourself to rest in this space. This vast space in which all these thoughts are arising. Notice a few things about this space. See whether it seems big or small. See whether it has a beginning or an ending. Where does it begin? Where does it end? Did it come from somewhere? Is it going somewhere? Just for this short while, set aside everything that you know as being you. All your identity, let's set it aside for a minute. Here there is no name, no gender, no expectations, no perceptions, no memory, no past, no future. What remains? Just gently see, gently notice, gently confirm what remains. Notice that it takes no effort to be here, no effort to reach the space, and no effort to remain in the space as the space. Remember, here you have no name, no gender, no past, no future, no expectations. Yet, confirm to yourself that you exist. You exist without all the things that you normally identify yourself with. You exist without all the things that you normally identify yourself with. Notice that this space neither begins nor ends. Just notice its vastness, its endlessness. And just allow yourself to rest in the space, rest deeply in the space, witnessing everything that is going on without any need to do anything about anything. Notice that thoughts are very, very distant and they are passing. Notice that nothing can touch you in the space. In fact, there is no you in the space. There is only space. Rest deeply in the space as the space. The space in which everything manifests. The space that you rest in. The space that is the real you. Space that is home. Again, this space needs no fixing, no healing, no completion, no being in charge, no need to be in control. There are no judgments, no expectations, no perceptions, no memory, no past, no future, no birth, no death, no you, no me. Just recognize the space. You didn't find this space, so you cannot lose it. Just rest here as long as you need to, as the space. It's not somewhere you have to reach. It's not somewhere you have to do something to get to. It is you. It is primary, comes before everything else. You didn't find this space, so you cannot lose it. This space always exists. Just allow yourself to rest in the space as the space. And even when you open your eyes, remember that you are the space. You are the space. You are the space. Knowing this, confirming this, taking your own time about it whenever you feel like, in your own time, in your own space. You may slowly and gently bring your awareness back into your space and open your eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carry the stillness with you. Just shift into the space of knowing that you exist. No future, no past. What remains? That's all that you need to reflect on. All your problems, all your challenges even now exist where they are. But where are you? You are in this peaceful state, and from this, you will be guided. Of course, you'll get up and do whatever you need to do. It's not that you're not going to do anything, not going to move a finger. From this space of centeredness or stillness, you will be guided to do all that you need to do. Just fall into this heart space whenever you're feeling scattered. And know that this will guide you ahead. Anybody wants to share something, ask something, please go ahead. And it's okay to be silent, because this is the silence of truth. This is the silence of presence. All the questions that we were asking, do any of them exist here? Will we be complacent? Will we need to control? Nothing exists here. Everything is happening. And whatever needs to happen will also happen. So just don't be in any kind of fear.
Seeing you was so healing. I can't tell you, I was so unaware the last, couple of weeks and the post, I don't know, it's COVID or whatever. But as you
Yeah,
say,
so
this
actually a lot of people wrote this also, that, they're going through a little, they're feeling scattered, they're feeling raveled up because of so many things. So I think these talks, these prayer meets, these Reiki sessions only help us to come back to our center and operate from that space. That's all that we need to do. You will be guided what you need to do, how you need to do. The plans are all being made. Were you planning your life? Have you planned your life for the last so many years that you've lived? And if you have, would your life look like that? Not at all. So you haven't planned life. Life is just running, happening the way that it's meant to be, in the perfect way. So just fully trust that and let it flow in that way. Give the remote control back to the universe. Tera tujhko arpan, yours back to you. Thank you so much. Please do share your questions without feeling any judgment. If you feel you don't want to give your name, don't give your name. Nothing will be revealed. Just don't live feeling unhappy, feeling dissatisfied, feeling that you can't cope, because you have all the necessary tools, the avenues. So reach out, put your questions out. Don't judge your questions that this is right. What will ma'am think? What will she think? All questions are right. Put them out. Let it be cleared from your mind. It's only your mind that needs an answer. You don't. So just let it out. Send out your questions. We really welcome them. And whatever I can answer to the best of my abilities, I'm happy to do that. Just don't make your life, just don't suffer or be miserable in life. There's always a brighter side to whatever it is that you're going through. Thank you so much. Love you all. God bless you.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you very much.
Tomorrow we have a full moon meditation, so be sure to join in at 7. It's a beautiful full moon tomorrow.
Thank you, Sujata. Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
thank you, Sujata, Vinita, and everybody. Thank you.